I'll let you know when we're up and running.
Okay.
I'll let you know when we're up and running. And we are live.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Jim Dill, Senate Chair of the IFW Committee. I want to welcome everybody to our committee meeting. We have 3 items on our agenda today. And first, we'll start out with introductions. So first will be Representative Alley. Still muted, Representative. While you're trying to get unmuted, we'll go around and keep introducing ourselves. Representative Neto.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Kathy Neto. I represent District 78, which covers the town of Winslow and a small portion of Benton.
Try it now, Representative Alley.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, good. This thing's sticky, I guess. I have coffee in there. Yes, Robert Alley here from Down East Maine. I come from Jonesport, Beals, Addison, Harrington, Columbia Falls, Centerville, Cherryfield, Jonesboro, Marshfield, and Whitneyville. Thank you.
Representative Mason.
Good morning. Thank you, Senator Dill. I'm Rick Mason. I represent District 56, the great folks of Lisbon.
Representative Lyford.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Peter Lyford, District 129, which is Clifton, Eddington, Holden, a portion of Northborough, and Vesey.
Representative Hepler.
Good morning. I'm Allison Hepler. I represent the towns of Aroustic, Georgetown, Phippsburg, Woolwich, which is where I live, Dresden, and a small part of Richmond.
House Chair Landry.
Good morning. I'm Scott Landry. I represent the towns of Farmington and New Sharon, District 113.
Representative Danny Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, folks. Danny Martin, House 150, located in northern Worcester County.
Representative Ordway.
Yes, good morning. I'm Lester Ordway. I represent District 23, which is part of the town of Standish.
Senator Black.
Good morning. Russ Black from Wilton, represent all of Franklin County and 4 towns in Kennebec, Belgrade, Mount Vernon, Bayonne, and Fayette.
Representative Terrio.
Thank you, Senator. Good morning. I am Tim Terrio. I represent District 79, which is Albion, most of Benton, China, and Unity Plantation.
Thank you. Good morning again. As I said, I'm Jim Dill. I represent Senate District number 5, Northern Penobscot County. Our 3 agenda items are a presentation and report from the department on the all-terrain vehicle registration funds. And then we have 2 work sessions on an act related to airboats and an act to improve boater safety on Maine waters. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to my House Chair to run today's meeting.
Good morning, everybody. I'm glad it's warmed up out there and we can get going here. First, we'll start with a presentation from the department. Commissioner, are you ready to go ahead with that?
Thank you, Representative Landry. I'm Judy Camuso, Commissioner with Maine Fish and Wildlife, and I'm gonna turn this presentation over to my astute counterpart, Deputy Commissioner Peabody.
Thank you.
Good morning, Representative Landry, Senator Dill, and members of the committee. I'm Tim Peabody, Deputy Commissioner of the Fish and Wildlife Department. To give you just a brief background on what this section of law that we're actually reporting on. In 2019, Governor Mills, by executive order, convened a task force to review the growing interest in ATV riding and the challenges that come with that, and partially increase in the size of ATVs, and the impact on private landowners who allow recreational vehicles on their land. Objective number 6 of the task force was to determine whether there's adequate funding for oversight, construction, and maintenance of the ATV trail network. And one of the recommendations under this objective was to systematically review registration fees to ensure the trail fund can always cover the amount of trail mileage. So Section 10 of the law that you passed last year, or in 2021, actually required our department, in consultation with Department of Agriculture, Conservation and Forestry, we shall review the ATV registration and maintenance needs of designated state approved trails in 2022, 2023, and every 2 years thereafter. Report the finding to the committee. That was Section 10 of PL 2021, Chapter 215. The law enacting the registration fee increase does not actually go into effect till this May of 2022. So when we actually drafted this, with the pandemic, it put us off a couple of years. We should have been 2 years into it, and that would have allowed us to report. But essentially, the $25 fee increase for ATVs is not going into effect. And so until May, and so essentially we have nothing to report on. But I will mention the importance of this piece and how we got there. Snowmobile registration fee had periodically been adjusted, over the past 20 years, and ATVs had not been periodically adjusted. So the task force felt it was important to review it. And obviously as a committee, you felt it was important to review it more periodically and not let it go so long and allow the trails to be in such disrepair, due to lack of funding. So this is a very positive step. It's just not ready to go in 2022.
Very good. Thank you, Deputy Commissioner Peabody. Any questions from the committee? Representative John Martin, would you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah. John Martin, House District 151, Northwestern Aroostook County.
Thank you. Good morning. Anyone have any questions? I do have one, Deputy Commissioner. What is the shortfall, the approximate shortfall? How much do we need to raise to, I know that's a pretty big question, but to fund the trails adequately?
That varies on the amount of mileage, trail mileage that you have open and the repairs that are needed. I know Brian Bronson from the Department of Conservation, and his program is the one that assesses that. And they've actually, as a result of the task force, have adopted best management practices for the trails. It's really is that balance between what's the condition of the trail, what's it take if you apply best management practices, and how much does that cost? And I know they're aggressively working on that. And put it this way, I'm sure the registration increase will be spent well over the next ATV season. But he may have a guess on that, but I think more is to come once we see how much money we generate.
Very good. Thank you very much. Any other discussion? Representative Hepler.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This may be probably a silly question, but are ATV trails become the snowmobile trails in the wintertime, or are there some that are one but not the other?
There's some that are one and not the other. A lot of the is based on how the clubs interact with the landowners. Some landowners allow snowmobile trails and not ATV trails. But I think in the clubs, a lot of them are dual purpose clubs. They're a combination ATV snowmobile clubs. So they try to work with the landowners to allow both. But like I say, riding on snow is different than riding on bare ground with an ATV. So you have a split.
Thank you, Representative Ordway.
Yeah, I just want to add that any increases we make on this trail system will not, if it works like the snowmobile, we raise the snowmobile rates. Snowmobile clubs are not seeing that increase this year. So I wouldn't expect that the ATV clubs receive an increase till the 23 season. It gets all tied up, and if we could do it faster, I would love to see it, because the snowmobile clubs are really hurting because they were kind of counting on some extra money this year.
Thank you. And some extra snow. Any other questions or discussion? Seeing none, we'll move on to one of the work sessions. I believe on my screen, it's 12:34, an act to improve boater safety on Maine waters. And we'll now begin the work session on that. Julia, do you have
Yes.
anything for us?
Yes, I will start this language review. We voted on this last week and we've made some changes with the department. I'll go ahead and share my screen. Is everyone able to see the document?
Yep.
Excellent. So the main changes that we made are to refer to section 13051, which is the commissioner's authority to regulate watercraft, and 31052, which is the commissioner's duty to regulate. And so you see that here in this first section where we made that reference, and also split apart the definitions. And then moving on from there, it is of note that this Class C crime here will require review under Joint Rule 319 by the Criminal Justice Committee. And last week, there was some discussion about what the exemptions would be and what the reciprocity would be, both with Canada and also with non-residents of Maine. And so we clarified that section to defer to quite clearly to the department to allow flexibility and review of what those non-resident and foreign acceptance for certification would be. So that is the language. And if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer them, or if they're substantive, to direct them to the department.
Does anybody have any questions for Julia? Representative Lyford. You're muted.
Thank you, Representative Landry. Yes, Julia, I hold a Master Maine Guides license, which allows me to take up to 20 passengers. Does that meet the word requirements?
I will actually direct that to the department who has permission under this section to grant that authority. If someone from the department is able to.
Yes, Deputy Commissioner Tim Peabody, that exemption, yes, Representative Lyford, if you have a carrying passengers for hire endorsement on your license, then you would be exempted from that. More than likely, if you had a master guides license, you had the carrying passengers for hire endorsement on it, I would presume. If so, you would be exempted from that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Hepler.
Thank you. I'm juggling too many papers. So as Julia knows, the concerns that I got hit with last week deal with inland waters and making sure that this only applies to inland waters. And I see it listed a number 17 on page 2. I don't see it on the last section, 5A, the last one. But yet I'm reading the summary, which is often what I do, and it does say that it applies to inland waters. Is that just somewhere else in the statute?
We did go through and clarify that this only applies to inland waters or inland waters of the state. And we can certainly make sure that that is added to subsection 5A.
Okay. Thank you.
Do we have any more questions or discussion? Senator Dill.
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify, I think maybe Julia's looking for it now, but does it say someplace else in the statute, though, that it is just inland waters? Even though we may want to add it to 5A, I just want to make sure that we didn't just.
Yes, it says that in this first section, and it also was added to 17, which is the biggest change.
17A.
To 17A, yes.
Yeah, I see it there up on inland.
There we
waters.
are.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Is there anything else? Any more discussion? Representative Hepler.
Sorry again. Can you show me, I'm sorry to be a pill. Can you show me where it is in section 1? On the front page? Is it on the front page? I see it under number 17. Is that it? Okay.
Yes.
And that's still section 1.
In this first section, these are the definitions.
Okay.
And then let's see. Here it is for you in this section here.
Gotcha. Yep. Great.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yes, and I misspoke by calling that, so I apologize.
Deputy Commissioner Peabody.
Representative Landry, I was wondering if Linda could let Colonel Scott in from the waiting room. I just want to make sure we're covering every thing that he had. A lot going on this morning. I just want to make sure that we have all the details that he had concerns about.
Would you please bring him in, Linda?
He's actually, I believe he's in now. Nope. He's on his way. He should be in with panelists now.
Okay.
Sure, thank you. Can you folks hear me?
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, I think that under section 3, it talks about, we addressed it as Julia had shown, the 25 horsepower limit for the course speaks to inland waters. Section 4, part 17, which is really the requirement. The bulk of the requirement speaks to inland waters as well, for anyone who's 12 years of age and older after January 1st, 2027, and the boat is more than 25 horsepower. The only challenge we would have with adding it to, I believe it was section 5, which we spoke to. So there's currently a law that anyone who's 16 and 17 years old operating a personal watercraft needs to have a boater education course, and that's current law, and there's no exemption for inland waters on that. In this bill, we remove the upper limit for personal watercraft. So if we added inland waters to that piece under section 5, it would do away with the current requirement for 16 and 17-year-olds to have, for operating a personal watercraft, to have boater education. So we either would need to break out January 1st, 2027 paragraph and include only inland waters. Or we would have, or it would also include, or it would remove the lower limit of 16 years old on tidal waters. So it's just, I don't know if I'm explaining that well or not, but that particular section, section 5, all we did was raise remove the upper limit of 18 years old. So if we added inland waters to that now, there would be no lower limit on tidal waters as there currently is, as there is in current law. But there would be no age restriction on personal watercrafts in tidal waters right now. Now we could adjust that language. It would probably just take some work with Julia and around the January 1st, 2027 date, just to clarify that, if that's where the committee wants to go.
Any thoughts? Julia, you up for tackling that? Or Senator Dill?
Yes, absolutely. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I see her hand is up. I believe she was speaking about section 5A.
Yes.
And we are absolutely happy to address that with the department.
Very good. Thank you. Senator Dill?
Yeah, just for clarification on 5A, if I understood the Colonel correctly, right now this would apply to marine waters also, not just, and is that the recommendation of the department, that for, rather than changing this thing, if we leave it the way it is, that means that if you are operating, if you're 16 or 17, you'd have to have a boater safety course even on, saltwater, tidal waters. Is that, I guess that's the question that I'm asking of the committee, is that, do we just want to leave this as it is because of that age rather than changing it, or do we change it to completely inland waters so there's no ambiguity?
Thank you. Representative Hepler?
Yeah, first of all, number 5, if that's the way it has been in tidal waters, I think that's fine. The concern I was hearing from people, not necessarily having to do with a boater safety course, but with the size of horsepower. I think I'm correct in that.
So, may I, Senator Dill?
Yes. Representative Landry today.
So there's 2 parts to the bill. One is motorboats and one is personal watercrafts. We very clearly made the motorboats over 12 and over 25 horsepower in inland waters. It was a possible oversight for not eliminating tidal waters or including only inland waters for the personal watercraft. However, there's currently, under the personal watercraft statute, there is currently a boater safety requirement for people 16 and 17 years old. That's in all waters of the state, tidal waters, inland waters, etc. If we apply that paragraph to inland waters only, we're basically lifting the restriction, the lower age limit restriction for personal watercrafts on tidal waters. That's not our recommendation. Likewise, it also isn't our recommendation that we include everybody on a personal watercraft. So I think we should do one final draft and craft the language so that the 16 and 17-year-old, as it is now, requirement remains on tidal waters, and it's up to the committee. But where this bill has eliminated tidal waters or only included inland waters as we move forward after January 1st, 2027, just leave the personal watercraft 16 and 17-year age limit and don't add the adult, so to speak, to it.
Thank you, Representative Danny Martin. You're muted.
I apologize. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Colonel, if that's your recommendation, can you work with Julia on this and try to fix it?
Yeah, that's what we would do. That was my my short point, I guess. Thank you.
Very good. Any more questions for Colonel Scott? Seeing none, Julia, you're going to work with them and get that straightened out then, I take it?
Yeah, and we can come back with that on Wednesday.
Okay. So do we want to wait till Wednesday to pick this up again? Show of hands. If that's okay, Representative Danny Martin.
No, I was just going to say, I believe we've already, Mr. Chair, we've already voted on this. This is a language review, so maybe Wednesday we could take a final stab at it.
Okay. Do we have a motion or Representative Ordway?
Yeah, never mind.
That was quick. Okay. Where are we now? Are we ready to move on with this?
Yeah,
Representative Martin?
I don't think we need a motion, Mr. Chair. I think we'll have final language review on Wednesday. Is that correct, Julia?
That's correct, Representative Martin.
Okay. If that's the case, then we will close the work session on LD 1234, an act to improve boating safety on main waters. Thank you very much. And we'll move on to the real simple one on the table here, LD 1383, an act related to airboats. Julia, what do you have for us here?
I'm happy to pull up my bill analysis if that would be helpful for everyone in making some decisions today. Let's see.
Senator Dill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm just getting confused on the LD numbers. Both the LD numbers I have on my sheet are different than the ones that you have read. So I just want to make sure that as we read these and talk about them on video, that we are talking about the right LD numbers. So if Julia would make sure that we have the correct LD numbers.
Yeah, sorry about that. It was LD 1873. I was reading the House paper number.
Okay.
And the boater safety is LD 1663.
Yeah.
And then now we are going to look at LD 1873.
Yeah.
Okay. And are people able to see my screen again?
Yes.
Great. So this was a concept draft that would implement the recommendations of the stakeholder group. Last week we heard testimony, and the written testimony is provided on the website. Some of the points that were made orally was that the sunset should be extended, more data and education are needed. This stakeholder group should continue to work. The water access points for airboats, for airboat use should be addressed. And the law enforcement noise decibel exemption should be repealed. There are two amendments that have been suggested at this time. The first is from the Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife. Their suggestion is to repeal the sunset date that is currently existing in law and extend it until September 30th, 2023, which is 1 year. Representative Melanie Sachs of Freeport has also suggested an amendment, which is summarized here, and it's a little more extensive, so I'll allow everyone to through it. This was also linked in her testimony as well.
Okay,
Great.
thank you, Julia.
Yes.
Commissioner? Do you have something you'd like to add?
Me, Senator? I mean, Representative Landy, are you? I didn't have my hand up.
Oh, okay. No, if Julia was done with her analysis, I want to know if you had something to bring up. You want to speak to it?
I don't think so. I think, regarding the request for the department to look for funding to help airboats comply, I think the stakeholder group did that and really didn't come up with anything. I don't think this is something the department can take on, and I think it would be a challenging precedent to set moving forward. Certainly, the department is very willing to continue to look for new water access sites, with our water access program, as well as funding available through LMF. But I will just, in all sort of honesty with the committee, water access on the coast is generally very controversial and not an easy thing to do. So usually the neighbors don't like it. So we will certainly try and work for that, and that is our goal. But I want to be frank with the committee that it's not just as simple buy some land and build a boat launch, and it usually comes with a lot of controversy and neighborhood input. So it's not something that would, I don't think, happen in a short term, but we certainly will continue to work for that. We're committed and dedicated to trying to assist in that manner.
Thank you. I would think that's kind of why we're here with the airboats out there to begin with, because they have no access. Representative Terrio.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't mind most of the amendment. I don't agree with the emergency boats having be part of that. I'm not going to support that. And the funding part for the department, we already know they've exhausted every part of that. So other than those two pieces, I'm okay with the amendment. I wasn't, but that's just my opinion.
Thank you. Representative Ordway.
Just maybe for Colonel Scott or the commissioner. We speak of funding. Is there funds available to equip wardens with decibel meters? I know it's been a thing for the state police for years that noise complaints are, I guess, traffic division's number one complaint is loud motorcycles, and they do not have the funding to buy decibel meters. Never have.
Thanks, Representative. I'll let Colonel Scott address that.
Sure. I mean, we haven't budgeted for them at this point. We did 2 years ago when this bill was coming up, and we have purchased, I think we own 4 of the latest state of the art. There's a few more of those across the state because we also test snowmobiles and ATVs. So we do have a sufficient number of the latest decibel readers in the southern part of the state right now. Some were purchased due to this airboat project, and some we've had in place for a number of years because loud boat complaints are not uncommon, especially in the southern part of the state.
And that satisfy you, Representative Ordway?
Well, maybe you could lend one for the state police.
Thank you. Thank you, Colonel Scott. Representative Lyford.
Thank you. I'm in favor of keeping the working group and working on water access, but there is no funding available. The department has gone to extreme lengths and expenses to bring people in for education, and there are already laws on the books for mufflers and decimals, and I'm pleased with that part of it. I'd like to just work on the working group and the water access. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more discussion or questions? Seeing none, Representative Hepler, you're muted. Okay.
Thank you. I get confused when I see raise hand, lower hand. It's like, which one am I on? Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I guess my question is, Representative Terrio talked about the exemption for the decibel limiter. So are we leaning towards keeping it the way it is, which is an exemption? Oh wait, now I'm confused. Removing the exemption, except for in response to an emergency, or keeping it as is?
Who's that directed at? The committee as a whole?
Yeah, or maybe Representative Terrio, or anybody.
No, I want to keep the decibel. We're gonna move the bill down for a year as it is right now, which is 90 decibels, but we're not gonna make the emergency vehicles adhere to that. They are gonna be exempt.
Thank you. Representative Ordway?
Yeah, I guess on the bill overall, I am definitely from keeping the working group if they're willing, and thank them for their time. Keep the working group going, look at access problems. And that's about all I'd like to do at this time with this bill.
Yeah, that makes sense, since we haven't had a season to see how what we've got in place works. So we're looking at Representative Danny Martin.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm a little confused, and maybe it's because I missed the last meeting, but did we vote on this bill? And if we did, is this simply a language review, Mr. Chair, or?
I don't believe we voted on it.
Okay, all right. Now, the reason I was asking is that, there are some committee members that are supportive of a portion of it. So what do we have before us that the committee can take a vote on? Is it what we've seen on the screen?
Julia?
So at this time, Representative Martin, there is nothing in OPLA. And so it would be a vote on what the committee would like to see in a draft.
Thank you.
And correct, or substantively what they would like the bill to carry.
Thank you. Senator Dill?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I think Representative Martin, what we kind of was looking at was we'd had a discussion over, just moving it forward, sunsetting, and then Representative Sachs came in and testified and presented her bill, and she gave us a list. So what Julia presented today was kind of the two lists, so we can either pick and choose or pick one or the other. So I think that's where we are.
Thank you, Senator Dill. Julia?
I'm happy to pull that up again if that would be helpful for the committee.
Please.
So this provides a summary of the two different possibilities.
Representative Hepler?
Oops. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm not sure, and I apologize if I missed it, that did the department weigh in on continuing this stakeholder group?
Yeah, I believe the department is willing to move ahead with extend the sunset and to remove the funding part of it, because they have tried extensively to find money for the for the funding to retrofit these boats. And, you know, they can't keep doing it. It doesn't seem to be there. If you include that in the bill, it's going to end up on the table, and the whole thing will probably die on the appropriations table, is what I got out of it from the department.
Kind of a follow-up. It sounded like somebody else can correct me, but I believe actually I didn't need to ask that question because the stakeholder group is included in the previous bill that we passed. So I wasn't concerned. I wasn't interested in the funding part of it. I was just interested in the stakeholder group. So thanks.
Yeah, and Commissioner, you were wanting to continue the stakeholder group, I believe.
We certainly can continue the stakeholder group. I just would like a little clarity on what you would like that group to focus on. The land acquisition for water access, or it seems like we need a year or so working with the current, the decibel limits to actually be in place before we can, kind of assess where things are or make tweaks. Or so I'm not sure, in just being efficient, what we would assign that stakeholder group to work on right now.
Thank you. So basically, you would like to move ahead with the sunset for a year, get some analysis and see what's going on.
I think that makes sense. We will, we will certainly look, whether, and the legislature, you all could write us a letter and direct us to investigate options for increased water access in that Mirror Point, Freeport, Brunswick area, and we will certainly do that. I'm not sure that needs to be in the law. I think you could do that with a letter to the department, but I would suggest that for right now, until we have some additional data, there's not much for that group to work on, but the department could do our best to move forward with providing new water access sites.
Very good. Thank you very much. Representative Ordway.
I'm trying. Could I ask Julia to scroll down to, or up to where the department's proposed amendments were? Thank you.
Representative Hepler.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was wondering if the sponsor of the bill is here. I think she is, and see if she has any input into this. Do you see her? I can't see her.
I can't hear either. Linda, is she in the waiting room?
Yes, she is.
Could you bring her in, please?
Who are we bringing in, please?
Representative Sachs.
Okay, yes. She's on her way in now.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, Representative Sachs. You're muted.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Thanks for recognizing me. Good morning, committee, Joint Standing Committee and IFW. I so appreciate the dialogue this morning. Thank you so much. I certainly can see why a letter would be absolutely appropriate. And to Representative Hepler's point, LD 114 does enable the stakeholder group to continue to meet. You're absolutely right, Representative Hepler, which is what they'd like. I will say that they did not envision meeting with the same frequency that they did. I certainly see value. They'd envision more of a quarterly meeting to check in on data, check in on regional issues if they continue to happen. I think one of the reasons that you saw such consensus has been their ability to get together and talk through some of these issues as they move forward. So that would be the wish of the stakeholder group, to just check in on data, work locally to resolve issues, continue the communication, which makes so much sense. If that makes sense, and I'm happy to talk about any questions. I understand why law enforcement boats would not be your preferred. I will just state that, again, the overwhelming majority of folks, including one of the Marine Resource Officers, did vote in favor of that. And it's just during normal operation times, and encouraging them to modify boats to reach these same decibel limits. But again, completely understand. So appreciate the dialogue this morning.
Thank you. Any questions for Representative Sachs? Commissioner, do you have your hand up?
I do. Thank you, Representative Landry. And I think given Representative Sachs' explanation of what the stakeholder group would be meeting on that, we would be fine to continue that. And I think the language he had proposed was perfect to enable the stakeholder group to continue to meet in a quarterly or 3 times a year, check in, and keeping the lines of communication open is probably a very good idea.
Mr. Chair, I'd also add that I know locally, we're going to start working locally on access issues as well. I've also been asked we have a stakeholder group meeting at 11 again, just with my local region and some of the other regional folks as well. This has spurred really positive dialogue, I would say. And I also talked with Maine Revenue Services around tax credits for landowners to encourage access. So really trying to think creatively. And that's one of the check-ins that we'll be doing in the stakeholder group, is to see how the local access conversations are going as well. And hopefully if something works in one area, such as Abden Simmons talked about in the stakeholder group, we're going to try and help some of those conversations move forward as well. My only question for the committee, if permitted, is there a report back function? It was something that was added in the amendment that we proposed. Would love to have a report back to this committee so you know how things are going.
I'm sure that can be requested, Commissioner.
I would just, thank you, Representative. And I wonder if when the committee reviews when the law will be sunsetted, there would normally be a review then. And so we could do a report back, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Representative Ordway.
Yeah, thank you, Representative. And thanks, Representative Sachs, for your last comments, because I think this whole issue came up because of lack of local access. And if the local towns are working together with landowners on the coast to get access for people to walk down there, I'm sure the clam diggers would much prefer to walk down to the flats than to purchase a big expensive airboat.
Thank you. It sounds like this bill has come a long way from where we were last summer or last spring, whatever it was. Representative Danny Martin.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, did we not have Representative Terrio work on this working group, or am I confused with another piece of legislation? Representative Terrio?
He was working with him. Is he no longer here, Linda?
He may have just stepped away.
Oh, there he is. Representative Terrio.
Representative Terrio, did you not participate in the working group on this piece of legislation?
I did not. I would have, but I never got asked.
Okay, I thought you had. So nobody on the committee that we know of was part of this legislation?
No, other than the field trip.
Yeah, no, the reason I'm asking that, I think Representative Terrio, you expressed some concern on a portion of this piece of legislation. And, up north here, we don't have a whole lot of airboats, and I just need to rely on folks from the other part of Maine to guide me in the right direction on this one.
There's not much clam digging up your way?
Not a whole lot.
No. Representative Sachs.
Just to clarify, for Representative Martin, this was the working group, the stakeholder group was chaired by two wonderful representatives of DMR and IFW, Jason Luce and Wesley Dean, Sergeant Dean. And so it's been super collaborative. And I would say that the regional group that is meeting later on today includes Representative McCrate, Representative Arford, myself, Representative Hepler, and other folks. Again, we're really trying to move this forward in a positive direction. And so thanks for that. But again, a shout out to the wonderful facilitation by Lieutenant Luce and Sergeant Dean.
Thank you. Representative Terrio.
Thank you. Representative Martin, I believe if we remove the sunset, I've talked to people that worked on the working group and they're very comfortable with the direction it's going. We keep the lines of communication going and get a letter to the department asking them to continue. I think we're going to be just fine with everything that's going on. So thanks.
Thank you, Representative Terrio. Any more discussion? Are we ready to move forward with this? Representative Terrio? Representative Terrio?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion and just what I just got done saying. I remove the sunset and have a letter to the department. I think that's the appropriate steps right now, and everyone's done a really good job. And we wanted to move forward just the way it's going and let them get some data. And I think everything's going to work out pretty well.
Very good. We have a motion. Representative Ordway.
Before we get a second and stop discussion, could we get a summarization from Julia exactly what we're voting on right now?
Thank you. I was about to ask the same. If I could have clarification of exactly what is being voted on, that would be really helpful.
May I comment before you do, Tim? Did you mean extend the sunset, not remove it?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I was talking about, extending the sunset until next year, 2023. And yeah, I don't see we need to add anything more than asking the department, write a letter to the department, asking them to continue what they've been doing.
Very good. Thank you. Senator Dill.
Yeah, you still have to have a second at some point is all I was going to say.
Oh, okay. Representative Hepler. Okay, second from Representative Hepler. Julia?
So you are currently voting to extend the sunset?
Yes.
And that was the second. Okay, great. Thank you very much.
And send a letter to the department requesting a report back.
Great.
At the end of the sunset.
Great.
Representative Ordway.
Yeah, and the only thing I would like to see on that is that we do not put any restrictions on law enforcement in any way, shape, or form through this.
All set with that, Julia?
Is that okay with Representative Terrio, who made the motion?
Well, that's in the original bill. There was an exemption for law enforcement, so that's just going to continue.
Okay. Very good. Okay, we had a second. Senator Dill.
So the question is that basically we're just taking the bill that we were working under before and extending it one entire year, just so everybody's clear. Is that correct, Representative Terrio?
Yes, that's exactly right. Thank you.
Representative Lyford.
So this is just, we've put the bill aside and sending just a letter? Is that my understanding?
Julia?
I just wanted to clarify that last year's bill actually became law, and I'm going to pull it up if that would be helpful, so you can look at where the sunset is. And my understanding, but correct me if I'm wrong, is that you would be extending that sunset that is in law, And I'm happy to show that to the committee right now.
Thank you.
It just takes me one moment to pull up and then I will share my screen. Okay. This is the wrong one, sorry. Still the wrong one, I apologize. Okay, here we are. Is everyone able to see that?
Yep.
Right?
So we're voting just to extend what we see here, I believe.
For a period of 1 year, Mr. Chair? Is that what the motion was?
Yes. Any further discussion or questions? Okay, seeing none, we have a motion and a second to extend the sunset for a year to exempt law enforcement to request a report back from the department at the end of that 1 year period. Senator Dill?
So just to be clear, the motion is to pass LD 1663 as amended, and the amendment is the extension. Is this correct, Julia?
That's LD 1873?
No, yes, sorry, 1873.
Yeah.
Is that correct, Julia?
Yes, this would be to amend 1873 to extend the sunset 1 year.
Thank you.
Representative Ordway?
Oh, thank you, Representative. Julia, the only thing we're voting on right now in the bill is to extend the sunset. And
My
nothing else,
understanding is that's correct.
nothing else is in the bill. That's it. Those are the words.
Yes, that is my understanding of what the committee is voting to do right now.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Julia. Anything else?
Yeah,
Okay.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair, I understand the motion, but part of the motion also was to request a letter somewheres.
Yes.
That a letter be sent to the department, is that correct?
Correct.
Not that that's part of the motion, but that's included in the motion, correct?
Yes. Anything else? Linda, then why don't we call the vote?
All right, before I do, I just want to ask if Representative Ordway is having difficulty turning his, there you are, okay, because I'll need to see you as well as hear you. Thank you.
I don't know
All
why
right.
you want to see him.
All righty, I'll begin then with Representative Lyford. Is he still here? I don't see him.
Yes.
Oh, there you are. Okay, thank you. Representative Mason,
Yes.
Representative Hepler,
Yes.
Senator Black,
Yes.
Senator Dill,
Yes.
Representative Landry.
Yes.
Representative Terrio,
Yes.
Representative Danny Martin,
Yes.
Representative Ordway,
Yes.
Representative Ali. You're muted, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Representative Nadu
Yes.
and Representative John Martin.
Yes.
All right, so that's 12 in favor, 1 absent.
Thank you, Linda. With that, we'll close the work session on LD 1873. It passed by a vote of 12 with 1 absent, 12 in favor, 1 absent. Thank you. Is there anything else we have before us today? Representative Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I'm looking at Wednesday's schedule and it says to be determined. Have we determined what's on for Wednesday yet? No.
We did discuss it this morning. Excuse me, Senator Dill.
Yeah, hopefully there's going to be some information on electronic tagging to respond to. So that's going to be our first take at some look at the language. And also whatever we just did today, what was it, 1663 will be on the agenda too. But electronic tagging could be fairly big discussion, I would expect.
Julia.
I'm also happy to add to that I can bring the airboat language for review.
Thank you very much. Is there anything else or any other questions? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
Don't forget, Julia, we're doing chairs and leads right after. Okay. Are you sending out a new link?
Linda's going to send out a Zoom link for everyone.
Okay.
It might take me a few minutes to just hang tight until I get it set up and sent out.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Ordway.
Motion to adjourn.
A motion to adjourn. We have all kinds of seconds. Anybody opposed?